Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're excited that you're joining us today for our co-op and internship panel. We have some excellent information to provide you with today. We will get started shortly, so just hang with us. We want to give everybody a time to log on to the call, and then we'll get started. Again, if you're just joining us, thank you for being here today. We're excited to share with you about co-ops and internships at NKU. We will get started in just another 30 seconds or so to give people time to get logged on. We appreciate you being here. Excellent. Well, by my watch, it is 2 o'clock, and so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Lisa McElfresh, and I serve as the co-op manager and career advisor in our career services office. And I want to start by welcoming everybody to our session today. We are thrilled with the panel that we have assembled for you today to talk about co-ops and internships and to answer any questions that you have. This is a part of the Experiential Learning Week that we are sponsoring here at the university. This is the first time that we've had this event, and there are some amazing programs. And so I would highly encourage you, if you haven't checked out the list of other events that are happening this week, to take a look at those amazing opportunities. There will be recordings of the sessions. And so if you missed something and you were hoping that you could attend and it doesn't fit with your schedule, please check that website where you'll find a recording of those sessions that you can also attend. And so you can find that list at nku.edu/ELW. And so again, we're really excited to have our panel with us. And so thank you, panelists, for being here today. I'm going to turn the floor over to our panelists to introduce themselves in just a minute. If as they're introducing themselves, you think of questions, you can go ahead and start posting those in the question answer box that appears on your screen. If you hover over the bottom of the screen, it's the Q&A box that you'll see there, and you can pop any questions that you have there into the box throughout the duration of our presentation. With that, I'll turn it over to our panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emma Walker. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Director of Business Experience in the Haile College of Business. In my role, I help our students find internships. I help with resumes, LinkedIn, professional development, and career path guidance. So I'm looking forward to sharing my expertise with you today. But any of the College of Business students on, feel free to reach out to me after the call.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Stockman. I'm Director of Corporate Engagement for the College of Informatics. And I am very similar to what Emma does, but I do it in the COI. So I talk with companies, find internships, co-ops. I help students with their resumes. I help them do interviewing. I teach a class called INF 201. I call it the Get a Job class, how to conduct a job search class. But it also talks a little bit about professionalization. LinkedIn is definitely a part of that as well, as Emma said, and that's what I do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rhea, Professor Rhea Floyd. I am in the Department of Political Science, Criminal Justice, Organizational Leadership, International Studies, and Law, which is in the College of Arts and Sciences. I am the Experiential Learning Coordinator specifically for that department, but I help students find internships in political science, criminal justice, international studies, law, organizational leadership, and I also support students while they're interning at the different organizational sites.
Good afternoon. My name is Seyed Allameh. I'm the Director of Engineering Technology here at Northern Kentucky University. We have accredited engineering programs in mechanical and manufacturing engineering, in electrical and electronics engineering, and in mechatronics. Because of our accreditation, we have students from 13 countries, most of which come from Saudi Arabia and Qatar. We have 3 categories of students in our programs: domestic from high schools, domestic adult learners, and international students. So each group has its own challenges in advising, mentoring, and support. As an accreditation agency requirement, we have a co-op course, and we send our students to companies around us to learn hands-on techniques. So pandemic has caused some slowdown and delays in internships. International students usually are not accepted in companies around us. And also, so we try to accommodate these students by home internship, where students work with the faculty on their research projects. Thank you, and Lisa, microphone is yours.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. For very excited to learn from each of you today. And I will say, for those of you who are on the call, if you didn't hear your major represented by any of our panelists who are speaking, we're going to talk in generalities today, things that are important to all majors, not just students who are in the College of Business or Informatics or in the specific arts and sciences majors that we have here today. These are things that apply to all of our students. And if you have specific major questions that we can't answer, we can help put you in contact with those right people. And so I want you to not be discouraged if you didn't hear your major represented here today. But to get started, panelists, our first question is, what are the benefits of a co-op or internship?
If I may start. So for our engineering technology, I mentioned the benefits, and then I guess others can add. So benefits include, but they are not restricted to these. So first of all, our students learn the tricks of the trade. That means there are things that we cannot teach them as much as they should learn. So they learn these in real companies. So these are hands-on skills not possible because we do not have the machinery, or we do not have the faculty to learn every aspect of technology. And then gaining experience. So if they get hired at a more senior level or better position. And then working with up-to-date machinery and industrial scale operation that we do not have here in our labs. And they also become mature and responsible and ethical and act professional. And then, of course, they get paid so they can pay for college and for their family. Some companies even pay for schooling. Then acquisition and demonstration of skills that we require for course assessment, for achievement of our student outcomes required for our accreditation agency, which is ABET. And then I guess they can improve their graphical, written, and oral communications. Thank you.
I have students who will go into internships and say, look, I had a company I was really excited about working for, and then I entered there and it really wasn't for me. And I'm so glad I had that internship and figured it out in a 6-month internship versus me having that as my lifelong career job after graduation. So having an internship can really show you what you like, the type of company that your personality fits with. And yes, it gets you the experience as well added to your resume. While you're trying to figure out where the right company is, no matter what your major, you're going to find out what size of company works for you. Are you better fit for a large corporation or a smaller organization, nonprofit versus profit? So having that internship can definitely shed some light on your own personal interest and help you to make that career choice after graduation and what industry and what company you want to go into.
And I would say what Emma is talking about is true, because you could do that in 16 weeks versus finding out, 2 years later that this is not where I want to go. So in about 15, 16 weeks, having an internship will give you that snippet of what that job or industry will be like. And then you can make that decision on if this is the track you want to go on or move on to a different path.
I would add to that, students get to build a network. So when you're on campus, your network tends to be very small. It tends to be your professors or folks that you know on campus, people that you've worked with on campus, other students in classrooms. So by taking on an internship, you not only meet other students from other schools, but you also grow your network within that company. Even if you decide not to join that company after graduation, when you complete your internship, you still have those networking options. You still have those associations and connections, and it could pay off for you down the road.
Excellent. Thank you, panelists. And as our career advisor on the call, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that a co-op or internship is a great way to build your resume and to show the employer the skills that you have, not just from your classroom work, but applying that classroom knowledge to the world of work. So another benefit there of co-ops and internships. I like to say that they're the sprinkles on top of an ice cream cone, right? They help make it that much better. They elevate it to the next level. Another question for our panelists. Do I have to complete an internship as a part of my coursework? Is it required?
For our department in particular, it's not required, but you can apply up a certain amount of credit hours as electives toward the major. So it really depends on what your major is, and you want to talk with your advisor to see if there is a requirement or if there isn't. But for our department in particular, there's not a requirement.
Yeah, in the College of Business, we have two majors that we require an internship for graduation, and that is our accounting major and construction management. For all of our other majors, it is not required to have one to graduate. However, it's strongly encouraged, and we have classes set up for you so that you can take a 396 course internship course in your major and get course credit. So again, not required outside of accounting and construction management in the College of Business, but highly encouraged.
For us in engineering technology, we require co-op from our students in 3 programs. All the engineering technology programs require it, and this is actually a requirement of our accreditation agency.
So in the College of Informatics, we have a handful of majors. Electronic media and broadcasting can either do a co-op internship or they can do a study abroad. Public relations is also required. Applied software engineering, one of our new degrees, another one of our new degrees, cybersecurity is also required. And I think for us, that might be it. I'm going through my head, I'm going through the list of majors to see who else is required, but I think everyone else is pretty much, you can do it if you like, and you can either take and I apologize, Lisa, if I'm introducing this, but you can either take the CEP 300 course, or you can take the internship course through your major. And we strongly recommend that you do an internship.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you to everyone on our panel. And if your major wasn't represented, again, as we talked about in the first question, there are great benefits to doing a co-op or internship. And so even if it's not required, it's advantageous for you to think about in all majors how you can gain career-related experience. And a co-op or internship is a great way to do that. If you're not sure about your particular major, we would encourage you to reach out to your academic advisor who can talk to you about the requirements for your specific major and what course options would exist for you. As Julie mentioned, we do have CEP 300, which is a co-op course that we offer on campus, in addition to lots of our majors offering internship courses. And so there's lots of ways that you can gain class credit for the experiences that you're gaining related to the world of work. That brings us to an interesting question here today, panelists. What's the difference between a co-op and an internship?
I'll jump in real quick. We're all just sitting here looking at each other. So in the College of Informatics, a co-op is through the CEP 300 course, which is managed through Career Services. It's what we call our centralized co-op program. The internship is a class that is taken in your major. So for example, communication studies would take CMST 396. Public relations would be PR 396. CIT, Computer Information Science, CIT 396, or you can do the CEP 300.
Yeah, and I think that rings true for all of our majors. The internship class is managed through your particular major, where the CEP or a co-op is managed through career services. And so when we think about like a co-op, there are specific requirements that apply to anybody who's doing CEP 300. You have to have a 2.2 GPA. It has to be related to your major or your minor. You have to be paid in order to do a co-op class. Where when you're talking about your internship, each of those vary based on your specific major. And so a CIT student's experience may look very different than a math student because they may have different requirements for those specific majors. And so again, you can look in the course catalog to find that information, or you can look it up by talking, or you can reach out to your academic advisor to talk with them about the requirements for those specific courses. When is the right time, panelists, to do an internship or a co-op?
So I tell my students all the time, the sooner you do one, the better to start building your resume. However, when it comes to getting an internship for course credit, that's a different story. So having an internship in your sophomore year can get you experience to help you get another internship in your junior or senior year if you want more of that on your resume. But in order for you to have an internship for course credit, specifically in the College of Business, we have prerequisites. So certain classes you need to take, and certain hours and a certain amount of hours you need to work in that internship in order to get course credit. So ideally, you come in freshman year, you would have your inaugural classes, and then sophomore year is when you would really start looking. We encourage junior year, senior year, have a few internships so you can diversify your resume. And then again, as I said earlier, it helps you see what type of companies that you're interested in, what you're really finding a passion for. Maybe it is the nonprofit world. Unexpectedly, you like it because you decided to take an internship in that, or vice versa, depending on your expectations. So really start looking for those internships the sophomore year, and then have a few junior, senior year so that you know what you want to do. And hopefully out of the internships you've had, there's one that you have a strong connection with, you are really happy there, and maybe that can turn into your full-time job.
So in engineering technology, we encourage our students to get a co-op in the second year after they have maybe taken some courses like drawing, AutoCAD, maybe introduction to fabrication and materials. So they have some basic superficial knowledge of hand tools, the machinery, and they can contribute to the company to which they go. Nevertheless, there are times that students can actually get a co-op job before coming to our program. An example is my son. A month before he came to our program, we're visiting a company, and the company asked him to leave the resume, and he got a job a couple of weeks before he joined engineering technology. So all what I had to tell them is that he is considering coming to engineering technology, and it worked for him. So he actually had 4 years of co-op, and then he got in a more senior position when he got a real job. Thank you.
So in the College of Informatics, it can be major specific. In fact, this question can be major specific for any of the colleges and any of our departments. In the College of Informatics, I believe it's 32 hours. You have to have a minimum of 32 hours successful credit hours under your belt before you can take an internship for credit. That stated, there are some of our more technical majors. For example, I'm thinking of applied software engineering and computer science. It's helpful if you've taken data structures. It's possible to get a position, an internship or co-op before you've taken data structures or object-oriented programming too. However, you're probably going to get a more substantial internship, and you might make a little bit more money if you've already taken those 2 courses. So it can be major specific for the more technical majors. It really just depends.
And I apologize for my dogs. They're barking for some odd reason. I don't know why. But for our major, you have to have a minimum of 9 hours and getting those intro level courses completed. And then after that, you can And you also have to have a minimum GPA of 2.75. So yeah.
Rhea, that's something that I'm really glad you brought that up, Professor Floyd. I'm really glad you brought that up because yeah, we also have, I don't know if it's 2.75 for all of our majors or 2.5, but there is a GPA requirement.
So this kind of leads to our next question, which is, how do I sign up? All this information you told me is great. How do I sign up for an internship or a co-op?
So for engineering technology, we have actually restriction on who can register for the course. So they have to come to either the director of the program or the faculty who teaches this course, and then state that they would like to take the course. Then we provide them with a form, and this form is also used by CEP 300, and they take the form to the supervisor in the company that they work, and there are learning objectives, and these objectives have to be stated, they have to be achievable, they have to be measurable, and then they bring it back to us, and then we'll allow them, we'll issue a permit to register. But in terms of where to go to find the position, we do have a list of the companies that have hired our students in the past, and we give it to the students so they can go and call them and find out if they have co-op position available. In addition, there are companies that call us, and then we advertise the position on our Canvas website, and they go there and look at the posted jobs, and they apply. So there are several ways that we do this.
So the main resource I give for our students is Hire NKU, which I know will soon be changing to Handshake, but we have our students go out to Hire NKU and encourage them to look for positions. So utilize the keyword search and try different ways of typing in, like if you're a marketing student and you're interested in sales, maybe in one search you try sales, in another search you try marketing. So try different ways of searching for the role, but then once you find one, you've gone through the process, you landed that interview, you rocked that interview, you got the job, then what you would do is you would go into Hire NKU and you would actually put in for that internship for course credit, and you would fill out the form, add that position, add the company, your learning objectives, and submit that. And then it goes through a process that's sent to the faculty member who oversees that internship course. And then you get approval as long as everything meets the expectations. Usually there's not a problem. If not, that's where I step in and I'll talk through with our students and say, here's what we would need to do in order to get it to be approved. And we just talk through it. But the simple answer to this is Hire NKU. So going out there to look for jobs, to apply for the position itself, and then also once you land that job, to apply for the course credit there in that system.
Yeah, same with the College of Informatics as it is for the College of Business. So Emma did a great job of walking you through what that process is like. So once you have your position, you're going to go to Hire NKU. You're going to make sure the job description's on there. You're going to make sure that the contact information for your supervisor is on there, that the name of the company is on there. You're going to fill out your learning objectives. Dr. Allameh did a great job of spelling out what those learning objectives have to be. You're going to put those on there. That then in the College of Informatics goes to the co-op coordinator for your department. There are 3 of them. Communications, Department of Communications is Tracy Songer. Department of Computer Science is Gail Wells, and Business Information Systems, Department of Business Informatics is Sarah Mann. They're going to approve it. Then it's going to go to Rebecca Ham. She's our Director of Advising, and she's going to approve it. And then basically you sign up for the class and you're good. So that's the process. But yeah, we also use Hire NKU. Honestly, it makes it a little bit more easier. It's automated, it's electronic. You can get emails sent directly back to you. It's actually a very fast process.
At the moment, we do not use Hire NKU for a lot of College of Arts and Science positions or internships opportunities, but you can use Hire NKU to find those opportunities, as Emma, Julie, and Seyed said. You will go there you can find, what you would do is I encourage you to go see your advisor first, just to see who would be the intern coordinator, because each department, each program has a specific person or a different person who's over the internship opportunities and placement in the course. And so go to your advisor, reach out to them, and then from there, we'll find opportunities for you. We'll help you research opportunities that best fit your needs or your interests, and then we get you registered into the course if you're eligible.
If I may add a couple more things here. We do have a number of professional society sections or chapters at Engineering Technology, and examples are ASME, SME, IEEE, ASQ, SAE, and then of course the senior chapters are out there too. So we encourage our students to participate in the senior chapter meetings and also come to the student chapters. So they go and visit companies, they have planned tours, they get together, they talk about jobs, co-op positions. So this is a good resource for the students to look for jobs. And sometimes I have a student who is in the industry and hires another student who's in the class. So for a couple of years, I had a student and he was a manager at Mazak. And then he would sit with his employee that he was another student next to each other, doing the homework assignments together and attending the classes together.
My college president always said it's who you know that allows you to show what you know. And I think that's a prime example of that. And your network can help you find and get those various positions. And so basically kind of a summary of all of this is, if you aren't sure how to obtain credit for the class that you're interested in, either reach out to your academic department, either your academic advisor, or if they've got a main office, reach out to them and they can assist you with how you should sign up, because it looks a little bit different for each of our colleges at the moment. And if you are doing business informatics or CEP 300, that is through the Hire NKU system. And this is an online jobs database where our employers post positions, full-time jobs, co-ops, and internships. And so you could go into that system and search for positions. As Emma mentioned, that is something that we are switching to a more robust platform this summer. And so be on the lookout for information. I think there was a teaser video yesterday about Handshake, but we will be switching to Handshake this summer, which will continue to offer some great opportunities in that same vein. It's a job research board where you can go on and you can search for various positions. You can create a profile and interact with other students, alumni, and employers on that system. We've got some great questions in our chat or in our question and answer box. And so I'm going to pop in and take some of those questions that we have, panelists. The next question is, how should I begin to search for internships if I have no clear idea what career path I want to explore, or I have far too many interests to narrow down?
So that's when, earlier I was talking about going into Hire NKU and typing in different keywords. So I've met with students who are just like you and say, I don't know what I want. The world's a big place. There's so many exciting things out there. I don't know what I want to do. And that's okay. And you're in the right spot. And the fact that you're considering internships is a good thing, because I'm going to reiterate what I've been saying this whole time, is that having an internship is going to help you figure out what you want to do. So for you, you're going to be one of those students who I suggest the more internships is going to be the better for you, so you can kind of figure out what you like and what you don't like. I would start with drawing kind of like a web of what you like. So you're in the middle, and then around that web, you have all the different interests that you like. And then you try to figure out, of those interests, which one you would like to have a job in. So I would take some of those keywords, put those into Hire NKU. Look at jobs that come up. Read that description. Read about the company. Is that a company you can see yourself working at? Once you type in those words and you start actually reading job descriptions, I have students who are actually looking at the job description thinking, okay, I was interested in this, but I've never actually sat down and searched for a job description in that field. Now that I'm reading it, I can see it's not for me. So sometimes it's just taking that web and writing down everything that's interesting to you and trying to narrow it down, reading job descriptions and looking at companies. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's going to take some time to sit down and to write all of it out, to search these companies, to look at these job descriptions, but that's going to help you figure out a starting place, what type of career path you could even be looking at, what type of internships you should be considering. And there are different classes out there that can help you with that in our different colleges to help you get some just general start at what that major could look like. Sometimes just sitting in on one class helps you see if it's for you or not. I'll share that when I started at NKU when I was a freshman, I was an education major. Thought for sure that's what I wanted to do. And I sat in on one education class and I said, that's not for me. I just knew in my heart it's not for me. And one class did that for me. And I have another student who I worked with who did a job shadow. He didn't even want to commit to completely going through a whole internship to figure it out. He said, I'm just going to find some jobs that interest me and job shadow some individuals. Might be a little hard on Zoom, but at the same time, it's still an option for you. And job shadowing can give you insight on, okay, I was kind of in between accounting and public relations, two completely different majors, two different colleges, but you liked math, but you liked speaking in public. You did a job shadow of an accountant, a job shadow of a PR manager, and which one did you have a better feeling with? Did you enjoy that accounting experience or the PR? And that can help you kind of figure it out. So just to kind of wrap up what I was saying, write down your name, your interest, and do a web map to try to figure out what on paper you're interested in. Go out to Hire NKU and look at jobs and companies. And then 3, look at those job shadow opportunities through classes. So hopefully that helps you.
So I'm watching Lisa type in the tools in the chat. I'm going to let her talk about those because those are actually outstanding tools. But it also, I'm going to build on what Emma said. It also depends on where your skill set is. So if you become very interested in doing a data analytics or business analytics, but you've never taken those courses, you're probably not going to be able to get a job in that field. So not only is it an idea of what your interests are, I always tell students, what do you want to learn next? So I'm 50 and I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So that's not the right question. Rather, a better question to ask yourself is, what do I want to learn next? What do I want to learn more about? What industry am I interested in? What sector am I interested in? What environment am I interested in? And then where are my skills? Because that's going to, I don't say use the word dictate, but that's going to drive where the market is going to have a spot for you. So it's like kind of like a matching game.
Yeah, I think those are excellent tools for all students to know and tips and tricks for them. We do offer career advising in the Career Services Office. So for students of all majors, you could schedule an appointment to sit down with one of our career advisors and we can talk about what are your skills, values, and interests. What are you passionate about? What are you interested in? And kind of have that conversation with you as well that some of the other folks on the call have discussed having. We do have 2 tools, which I put in the chat so that you have access to them. One is Focus 2, and Focus 2 is an online assessment, which allows you to assess your skills, values, interests, and personality preference, and then it maps those to different majors and career paths. And so this can be a really great tool for you to explore what are some of the options that are out there. I will tell you that your mood can impact it. The first time I took my assessment, I was in kind of a grumpy, I don't like people mood, and you could tell. So if you think your results look a little wonky, go back another day and take it again to see what's there. But that's a nice starting place. We also have a really awesome tool called What Can I Do with This Major? And I know when I was in school, I knew 100% I was a math major. I loved math. That's what I wanted to do. It was my passion. I didn't know what you do with a math major. I had no clue. A tool like this would have been really helpful for me to have looked at what were some of the career options and how could I have used that if I wanted to work in a very traditional math setting. And also gives non-traditional settings as well. So take a look at that list to see some of the options as well for opportunities. The next question, are all internships paid? Can I get paid and get credit? The best of both worlds there, right?
All internships are not paid, but you can get paid at an internship. If you get a paid internship, that's awesome, great. I think different career fields have different requirements where some will pay for the experience, but a lot of the ones in the arts and sciences are not paid positions. But you can, if you are working at a position where you're getting paid a full-time job or part-time job, and you would like to do additional tasks that's more related to your major, then you could potentially get that position to be an internship. Again, working with your academic advisor or your intern coordinator for your department will be helpful to make sure that it applies towards the course.
Yeah, it's the same for our college as well. So not all internships are paid, and some fields are more likely to pay than others. So media and film, you're going to see a lot of unpaid internships. Tech, they're almost all paid. So it can depend on the sector that you're looking at and what matches your major.
And what you want to make sure is that you know the requirements for your specific major. Does your major require a paid internship or can it be unpaid? And that's how you'll know, can I get paid and get credit? Yes, in some majors. In other majors, you could do always yes, always you could be paid and get credit. But are there times that you would do unpaid and get credit? Yes, for an internship class in some majors, not all, but some. For CEP, if you're doing a co-op, you cannot be unpaid. I'm going to say that again. If you're doing CEP 300 or 600, if you're a graduate student, that must be a paid experience. And so again, that's where we would urge you to talk with your department to find out what those specific requirements are so that you know what's expected of you right off the bat. Next question. Can I do multiple internships for credit?
So if I may start here, some of the companies require co-op in order for the students to go there and work. And of course, in engineering technology, we require only 3 credit hours. Now, our course, EGT 301, it's a 3 credit hour. That means students have to pay for 3 credit hours in order to be considered a co-op student. Now, if a student completes 301 and then he would like to continue work as co-op, then of course he would not get any credit from that is counted towards his degree, but also, but it allows the student to actually keep working at the company. Then he can take maybe CEP 300 for 1 credit hour. So he pays for 1 credit, but then he's a co-op student. He can continue working at the company that he's working for.
I encourage students to, if you start early looking for internships, you'll have multiple semesters to do possibly multiple internships. But at the same time, it really depends on your department on how many courses you can apply an internship. So meaning you could do maybe only apply 1 internship for all your academic credit. But you could do multiple internships outside of, it's almost like having two jobs in a sense. So if you start early, you'll have about 4, 5, or 6 semesters that you can do multiple internships in the span of your college career.
So every time you take a credit hour, you have to pay for it. So it may be not in your pocketbook's best interest to gather up a bunch of co-op or internship credits because you have to pay for them. So my advice for students is this: if it's required for your major, complete the class, get the class done, and don't chase after any more credits for that. For the CEP 300, it depends on your major, it depends on your situation, and it depends on your pocketbook. So because every credit hour you take, you have to pay for. That stated, the more internships you graduate with on your resume, the more desirable you are for employers, the more competitive you are with everyone else who's graduating. So that's what really pays off is at graduation when you have more than one.
I completely agree with what everyone else was saying. I just want to add, there's a time management piece there as well. So I'll meet with students and it sounds really exciting if you have a couple of internship opportunities at the same time, but then your coursework might suffer because you're taking on too much. So if you take on 2 internships and you also have 5 or 6 classes that you're trying to manage, plus life itself, that can just be a lot. And you also have self-care to think about and your mental health. So just try not to take on too much to get all of that on your resume and try to spread it out. Try to have an internship each semester that could be different, but maybe not all at once, just because I would fear that you would overwhelm yourself. I know that that would be a lot. And then this way you can balance and enjoy that one internship that semester, focus on your schoolwork and still have your life as well. So that's my advice, is just to make sure that you don't take on too much when considering multiple internships at once.
And some of those courses are repeatable, some of them are not. You can find this information in the NKU catalog. CEP 300/600 you can take for up to 12 credit hours. There are opportunities. So I know Julie had mentioned you maybe want to do an internship and not take it for credit. If you've already maxed out your number of credit hours and you don't want to pay to go over to do an overload of courses, or maybe you don't want to pay for that summer semester, but there are situations where you need credit in order to work. Some of our organizations require that you're enrolled for credit in order to do an internship. And so you want to make sure that you check with them to see if there are requirements. Also, our international students, many of you, depending on your visa statuses, must be enrolled in credit in order to be working in positions. And so just make sure that you know what those requirements are for you specifically. Our next question: what is the dress code for an internship? And can I go after class? And do I need to have business attire?
So there's several pieces to that. And it really depends on where you're going to be working at and what their attire is. Right now, most of us are working from home, so it's a little bit different. But when you're in person, depending on the company, they're going to have a different dress code. So some companies like 8451, for example, they wear jeans and a nice top. And then there's other companies like Western and Southern who are still more very business professional. So yes, you will have to dress up for the role according to the company that you're going to be working for. Our construction management students, they're in hard hats and the neon vests. So it just depends on what the job is. If you're a nursing student, you're going to be in the hospital and you're going to be in those types of outfits that are not even considering business professionalism. So depending on the job, think about the atmosphere, where you're going to be working and what makes sense for you. For the last part, can it be right after class? Yes. So if you need to come to school and wear what you're going to wear to work, that's fine. So we'll have, a nursing student in that college who could wear that to their class, and that's pretty normal. Same with our construction management students. I'll have a student who is dressed ready to go out into the construction field after class. So just think about your environment, what makes sense for that role. But I always really appreciated a supervisor who once told me, always dress for the job you want. And so when I worked at corporate Kroger and I was an intern at the time, I always came in dressed up, and it showed that I was like ready. I had initiative. So I tried to dress up like my supervisor was to show that I was coming in ready to grow in that atmosphere. So think about that a little bit, where you're going to be working and where you want to go in that field.
And my career services background is screaming at me, you will need business attire for your interview. 1000%.
I'm going to echo what Julie said. Regardless of what the people who work there are wearing, you need to dress up. We've talked with our employers about this, and they said that they will dismiss candidates immediately, not like literally dismiss you, but they will just like discount you as a candidate if you don't show up dressed up for an interview in several of the fields. And so make sure that you know that field well, and you know what's expected of you. And even if everybody else is not in a suit, but you are in a suit at the interview, have confidence knowing that you're the best dressed person in that room. Our next question, I've been offered an internship by someone I know. Should I accept it later on, or should I apply through NKU?
I'll try to start this one. Apply how the company needs you to apply. So if, for example, if it's, and it depends on who you know. Is who you know, the hiring manager? Is it a person who works there? Are they referring you to a job? Is it a referral? Or are they a hiring manager and they actually want you to interview for it? So follow the application in needs and instructions of the company. So if it's a company that is on Hire NKU and it's been set up so you see the little apply now button at the top of your screen, hit that button and you can apply through NKU. If not, then you probably will need to go to the company website and apply through their website. If you still don't know how they need you or want you to apply, ask.
And if you've already applied and you've already gotten a job offer and you're talking about credit, I would encourage you to talk to your academic advisor about what course makes sense for you to take if you're not sure. And then that's where you would apply for that credit. And so you could, if it's business informatics or CEP, then you would apply through Hire NKU. If it's one of our other departments or majors, then you would work with your academic advisor about forms that you need or what they would require from you in order to sign up in order to take that course. If you have additional questions on that, please put it in the chat. We're going off the context of what you had provided there in your question. Our next question, can I do an internship over the summer or just during the semester? Excellent question.
We offer co-op through all semesters. It means spring and fall and summer. So we encourage our students to take it if they do get one as soon as they can from the second year on. Yeah, thanks.
I also want to note that if you do an internship over the summer, it is like paying for a course. So think about that if a summer internship, if your summer aid does not count. I don't think that it covers summer, or aid financially does not cover summer, if I'm not mistaken. So you just want to make sure that financially you have it to take the internship if you're trying to do it for credit. But I always encourage students, if you can't do it, like if it doesn't apply to your major, specifically, like if you have all the credits that you need for your major, but you still want to take this internship that's only offered in the summer, do it. That's how you get experience. So
the other thing I want to note is that the number of working hours that you're required to work varies based on the class that you're taking. And so you want to check with your specific department about how many hours that they require. So I posted a link in the chat for CEP 300, 600, and in that co-op handbook, it tells you if you want to earn 3 credit hours, you have to work a minimum of 300 hours, and then you can earn 3 credits. Now, you wouldn't have to. If you were working 300 hours, you could choose to just get 1 credit, but you could earn up to 3. And so that's something that you would also want to check regardless of if you're looking at summer, fall, or spring. So we see a lot on TV about people doing internships, right? Like this is a common thing that we'll see. And a lot of times the interns are looked to do a lot of grub work, right? Or scut work, I think they call it on Grey's Anatomy, where you're getting coffee for people, or you're given all the dirty tasks. So am I just signing up for a measly job that they just need somebody to do minor tasks for them, or am I going to do something useful?
So Lisa, that is why we have learning objectives in place. So we want to make sure that when you go into a role as an intern, that you are getting a lot out of it. You are going in and learning from the student learning objectives that we have. And I can put in the chat box what ours are for the College of Business. We have different SLOs for each of our majors, but you have to check in with this faculty member or internship faculty, let them know what you're learning, how you're meeting those goals that you've set for yourself in your internship. So it should not be that you're going to go and get the coffee for someone, but rather it should be that you are managing a project or leading. You're learning something about your field that you didn't know in the classroom. This is experiential learning for you, going out into your field and getting hands-on experience. Hands-on experience is not getting the coffee. Hands-on experience is working in an Excel sheet, helping your supervisor think outside the box in a way they weren't thinking before, and being able to put that on your resume. And yes, SLOs are the student learning objectives. And I will put in the chat box for everyone the link to ours. So it should be there now. And this is a really good guide for the College of Business students to be able to go and click on your major, see what our student learning objectives are, what the requirements will be. But adhering to those will help make sure that this is not just, as she said, a measly job, but a job that's actually going to be substantial and help you grow.
And I would say if you find yourself becoming that person that's just grabbing a coffee for everyone in the office, let your intern coordinator or your faculty advisor or someone in your department know, so that way we could address that, because the whole purpose is that you're getting credit because you're learning something. You're able to apply your major to your future career. So stay in close, constant communication with your faculty advisor or advisor, or even intern coordinator, to let us know if that is happening.
Yeah, I think those days are over. So I haven't worked with a company for a long, long time who's just had them getting coffee or, filing the mail or doing, I'm sure they still exist. I'm sure there are people who still have interns do that, but by and whole, on the large, that really isn't done anymore. Companies don't want to pay you to go get coffee. They don't want you on their payroll doing that. So on occasion you may, but for the most part, I think you're definitely going to be doing something that's in your field and learning things that you can put on your resume. And I will put in the chat the College of Informatics student learning outcomes and how to write them.
In engineering technology, you do come up with 3 or more learning objectives, but then they have the students and their supervisors, they have to actually break down these into smaller goals. And every 2 weeks, they will have a couple of them, maybe 1 or 2 goals set. And then they will work towards achieving those 2 or 1 goals. And then they report on that. They say, for example, if they achieved the goal or not, if they achieved, how did they achieve? If they did not achieve, why not? And then they have a daily log, so they actually write down what they did. If there was a failure, if they learned anything from it, if it was success, so they have it in their log book. If later they want to file a patent, they have that brilliant, bright idea there written down. And then we recommend that actually get somebody else to sign on it if it's a brilliant idea and it's patentable. So, and of course, at the end, they have to write a full report on what they learned and what's their, I guess, perception of the job, and how they want to further their career in that area and so on.
What are the best places to do a co-op or internship?
That's a good question. So, there are big companies and smaller companies. And then big companies can actually rotate you through different departments, so you can get exposed to different areas. Nevertheless, it is my understanding that there's less supervision and scrutiny on the performance of the student. Now you have smaller companies and student goes there and they have a supervisor, and supervisor closely work with the student. And then they get a deeper understanding of the processes, they get better hands-on skills. So I guess each place has its own advantages and offers its own unique benefits.
I would say any organization where you're getting experience in your field would be the best organization, because you're able to learn. And that's the whole goal, is that you're learning something and seeing if this is the career field that you want to go down or continue on, or if this is not the career field that you want to continue on. So every organization is great, large, small, big name, mom and pop shop, every organization.
Excellent. As I see our time and I look that we're dwindling down, I want each of our panelists to take about 20 seconds to give what best advice you have for our interns. They've heard your workshop, they've been inspired, they've gone out, they've found an awesome internship, they've collaborated with their academic advisor to sign up for credit. What 20-second piece of advice do you have for each of our students?
If I may start, and this is my advice to our students as well, do a good job there. I guess the supervisor and of course the faculty, they can actually champion your cause. If you go there and don't do well, okay, it sets up a bad record. Do a good job, be serious, be on time. Most important thing, be on time every single time, and listen to your supervisor.
For me, my advice is to embrace it. So this is an opportunity as an intern for you to be in a role where they expect you to be learning. They expect you to be growing through it. After graduation, you might have that first couple of months, but after that, you'll start to be an expert in the field. So embrace the fact that you're in an internship role and that you can ask a lot of questions and you can grow and ask to shadow. Ask as many questions as you can so that you can get that extra learning opportunity, but just truly embrace it.
Take it seriously. It's a real job. Treat it like one. It's even if you're not being paid, you are learning things that you can put on your resume. You're creating a network. This is the start of your career. Many people leave their internships on their resumes and their LinkedIn profiles long after they've completed it, sometimes 3 or 4 years after college, until it finally drops off. So this is the beginning of your career. Treat it seriously.
And network with everyone at the organization. So if you haven't started a LinkedIn account, start one and begin to connect with your colleagues while you're at the internship, because you never know. You may need a reference later on and someone to attest for your work ethic, or you never know where they may be and what positions at their new job that they're looking for and that you can see and maybe potentially be a job for you later on.
Excellent. Panelists, thank you so much for that awesome advice. I am going to post a link in the chat to the Career Services YouTube channel. We do have information there on LinkedIn. I know several times that was mentioned today. So there's a LinkedIn workshop that you can watch if you're not familiar with that tool. We also have how you can report your co-op or internship and hire NKU And so you can utilize that for a step-by-step guide as well as a co-op internship workshop. And so if those are things you would find helpful, I would urge you to check out the Career Services YouTube channel. Again, each of our panelists are here because they love serving students. And so if you have a question that wasn't answered today or something specific, reach out to any one of the people on your screen today. We're happy to assist you. And if we can't, we will get you to the right person. Again, we want to thank you for being here today, panelists. Thank you for your time and your expertise that you shared with us. We do want to remind everybody about the other programs that are happening this week as a part of Experiential Learning Week. There are a lot of really great opportunities for you to connect with. If you would like to sign up, I'll put a link in the chat for a link where you can sign up for any of those additional workshops or programs. But we do invite you to take part in those or to watch the recordings if you can't attend live. Again, thanks everybody for being here. We hope you have an amazing day and good luck on finals next week.
Thank you, Lisa.